Hi everybody, and thanks for joining us for another short video in our series Embrace the Change. And today we're going to be discussing online awards, and I've been joined by some of the WebVid team today who are going to be giving us their insights into some of the projects we've been working on and some of the changes and challenges that we've had to face throughout 2020 in addressing these kinds of projects. So hi everybody, thank you very much for joining me. Oh, look at that. 3 happy faces. That's good. That's what we all want to see. That's what we want to see. And that's good because online awards are, a cause for celebration. And I think in a year where there's been so many challenges, it's been important for people not to overlook the fact that there are still things that need to be celebrated. So there's many things that I wanted to sort of touch on as we go through this quickly. But Parastu, I wanted to start with you because one of the things that we work on a lot as an agency is all the animation and production and openers and things like that for award shows. And moving things into the online space, there's a tendency sometimes, and that's, I think, sometimes necessary out of budget, but people want to scale things back. They want to make it simple. Now, we're good at making things simple, but there's still a huge importance to having good animated production, isn't there?
Yes, I feel like now because everything is being done from home and people are watching it at home, it's very important to make it impactful and exciting with animation. So you could make your audience engaged and just make it looks good.
Yeah, because it's easy for things just to be quite flat and just sort of someone sharing like, here's a picture, and we're all about quality. And there's been quite a few shows where you've worked on some pretty big openers. We've done stuff for our clients at Revo, done stuff for Food Matters Awards. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about some of the work that was involved in the production for those shows.
Yes, I would like to start with Riva because I remember we start working on it before the quarantine, and I remember we put so many flashes in the opener, and we were discussing, is it too much? If it's going to be on a big screen, is it like going to affect
Like create a
people's
strobe
health?
effect,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
we were a little bit worried about that, but then we found out, oh, it's not going to be on a big screen. But just to be safe, I remember we tried to reduce some of the flashes because we wanted to be really exciting and impactful.
And these are some of the subtle kind of changes and challenges. I mean, obviously it worked out for the better in the fact that this ended up being an online show,
Yeah.
but you have to change your thinking because you're thinking about the context of where this is going to be shown and where this is going to be seen.
Yeah, because you have to think about what medium or what device people are watching it on. And yeah, that was one of the first one we did. And we also worked on Food Matters opener. I remember that one was really challenging. We went through different look. Some of them didn't work, and we have to use a different technique to make it looks 3D. And for that one, the graphic team did the graphic. I just did the animation.
But it was a very, very impactful result with the trailing like lines, and that was something that worked really well and gave the award show a very distinctive look.
Yes, and I remember we collaborate with their team as well. It was very important that they like the looks and the colors and everything.
Absolutely, and there have been certainly quite a few challenges in putting production together at this time, but the results speak for themselves, and it certainly helps keep people engaged. Sarah, I'd like to bring you in, if I may. Obviously, you did a lot of the design work surrounding the Food Matters Awards, which Parastu touched on there. In terms of the design for that, I mean, what was your kind of approach to that kind of project? Because that is normally a big food orientated award show. There's lots of categories, lots of products. It's a huge event, isn't it?
Yeah, so obviously awards are something that are inherently a physical event. So graphic process has been majorly adapted to the virtual events. We're used to making lots of presentations and awards for real life events. So for Food Matters in particular, We really try to include the presenter into the presentation to make it more of like a real life event atmosphere, like he was in, like intertwined with the design. We had to really consider our layout, and the voiceover and the presenter created a whole package to combine it into a really interesting and fun virtual event.
Yeah, and that particular award show that you know, when you were touching on that kind of relationship there between the voiceover and the host, that's something that you do get in a physical space that has been lost a lot, I think, in a lot of the online awards. But this is something that, you know, was worked on really well there. So it still gives that sense and that same feel where there's a bit of back and forth and it's a bit more dynamic and there's a bit more energy. Tammy, when we obviously had to incorporate a presenter into that show, a lot of green screen work, a lot of using our new studio setup. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about the logistics in terms of how we had to bring that together, you know, working in this sort of COVID time.
Yeah, so at the beginning of this year, we'd made a lot of changes to our studio, and we got a lot of new things in, and then all of this happened and we had to change it around completely again. But, you know, like, we're used to adapting, we're used to changing things, and for what Sarah was talking about with Food Matters, it was really exciting because we actually had the guy come in and use our studio and be in our green screen. So for that, we had to obviously make everything really COVID safe. So we set it up, we had like our 2 meters distance, and we like scaled everything back so it could be just a speaker, 2 meters gap. Then I was filming with our Blackmagic cameras, which are really good quality for the green screen. And what we also did, we've got some new tech, which has been a really exciting part of this year. So we're able to feed what's showing on our cameras into a gallery in a completely separate room. So James and our client were able to watch completely live, like as I was recording, and just make sure, you know, everything was going right, like he was saying all the right things, we had everything prepared.
Pronunciations of products and names and all those kind of very important things.
Yeah, a lot of product names in that one. But yeah, it was good to like actually be back in the studio and doing some filming this year.
And also for some of these award shows, we've had to utilise judges' clips being set in advance, and winners have sent in clips when they've sort of been presented with an award. So we were able to kind of have that more sort of audience inclusion of winners, but also that sort of informative part from the judges, which you normally get at shows, and it's something a little bit richer than just reading the judges' comments. Tammy, can you talk a little bit about how you've incorporated some of those assets into the online awards?
Yeah, so it's been really nice to have that, as you say. Just makes it a bit more interesting and live, and it's like people love to see, you know, themselves and their team members just actually being on, and obviously being from home, there's a lot more of a like homemade feel to it, which is really nice. We just want to get that combination of having it still be high quality but also like very personal. So we've been encouraging people to use cam flare just to try and get like the highest quality recording possible, you know, sending out advice on like the lighting, the backgrounds, everything, and just putting it in frames and animations that Sarah and Paris have done, just to make it as high quality as we can.
Well, I mean, we could go on and talk about online awards and all the different things that we've done and all the different things that we've seen for quite some time. We'd be really interested to hear your thoughts, actually, if you've been making any online awards, or if you normally do stuff in a physical space, and you know you're looking to take some of these techniques over into next year when we're allowed back into physical spaces. We'd be really interested to hear that. So leave us a comment below. I'd just like to finish. It's kind of an open question just to you all. We're going to get to a point, hopefully, in a future not too far from now, where award shows are going to start going back into physical spaces. I mean, have there been any sort of techniques or any kind of ways we've implemented material into any of the shows or any of the design work that we've done in this time that you think will kind of carry over into next year in ways that perhaps wasn't being used in physical events before? Because obviously normally it was quite, you know, linear, what we wanted. Do you think there'd be more of a hybrid approach? Do you think people might want to keep bringing some of these assets in? But that's an open question to anyone that wants to take it.
Definitely. I think the fact that you can get people's responses from all over the world now, like you can have worldwide competitions or awards that people can attend from all over the world, and they don't have to meet all in the same room now. So that is definitely something that I think can carry on into the future.
Also, sorry, I forgot what I was going to say. I feel like from my end, a lot of the stuff is still the same. It's just that maybe the animation used to be shorter. Now you have to make longer pieces, so it's more important to make it high quality and exciting for a longer time. So that's just the difference.
Yeah, increased production values is probably something that people are going to be expecting for award shows, certainly. And I'll be interested to see as well what happens in terms of, like you said, Sarah, you know, incorporating people all over the world, if more shows will look to have a live streaming aspect to their shows, or whether they have more of a bringing in remote guests aspect, either in the live show or prior or afterwards. Well, thank you very much to the WebVid team, Paris, Stu, Sarah, Tammy. Thank you for joining me. That was our little chat about online awards. We'd really like to hear your thoughts and comments below about what you think is going to happen in the next year. Look out, we're going to be sort of putting some other videos in this series out, discussing a few other things about tech innovation and virtual conferences, and we're hoping to be discussing our own virtual event to some other businesses about how they've had to adapt and change across this year and what they've done. But thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you again next time.